Today we are going to talk about the Nazi invasion of France and the fall of democracy in Paris and what happened after France was liberated.
In June 1940, Germany invaded France. After France was defeated, Paris came under Nazi control. The occupation lasted from 1940 to 1944. During this time, life in Paris changed completely. The Nazi government controlled almost every part of daily life. There were strict rules, curfews, and censorship, which meant people could not freely express their opinion or criticize the government. Food, fuel, and clothes were rationed, so families often had to wait in long lines for basic supplies. Many people experienced hunger and hardship. Jewish people suffered the most. They were forced to wear a yellow Star of David so they could be easily identified. They were banned from many public places, lost their jobs and businesses, and were treated unfairly because of their religion. Thousands of Jewish people in France were arrested, sent to concentration camps, and many were killed during the Holocaust. After the French surrendered to Germany, many French citizens refused to accept the occupation. Let's watch a simple documentary about the events took place in the French resistance.
The French Resistance, World War II. The surrender of France to Germany in 1940 damaged the pride of the nation. French citizens felt let down by the government and were further angered by the Nazi collaborating Vichy government that emerged. Resistance soon took place in different ways after Charles de Gaulle encouraged the fight to continue after the impending German occupation. Groups such as the Maquis were men and women who avoided Vichy France's forced labor by hiding in the mountains. They used violent means and guerrilla warfare tactics, attacking the milice and the German occupiers and sabotaging their communication lines and vehicles. Other resistance groups used non-violent tactics, publishing anti-German and anti-Vichy underground newspapers and broadcasting radio programs. At first, it was hard to get the resistance groups to merge together because of all the differences in politics. Some supported Charles de Gaulle, while others wanted a communist post-war France. The men and women of the French resistance came from all parts of French society. They included people from different classes: professors, students, Catholics, Jews, foreigners, liberals, anarchists, and communists. For the resistance to become effective, it needed to maintain the hope that liberation for occupation would eventually happen when it seemed impossible to most people in 1940. The French population would continue as normal so the resistance could blend in, as it was important to never attract attention of the enemy. But there was still a danger that fascist sympathizers could infiltrate the resistance and betray them to the enemy. To continue the fight and unite all the loose collections of political groups, the French resistance would need outside help, which it found in the British Special Operations Executive and later on, the American Office of Strategic Services. These allies provided weapons, equipment, and training to the resistance movement, and in exchange, the resistance sabotaged Axis industry and transportation and provided intelligence reports. The weapons and equipment used by the French resistance were British or American supplied or were captured from German troops. British Sten guns were airdropped in large quantities, suitable for resistance fighters because they could be disassembled and assembled quickly, making them easy to conceal. One trick the Maquis found was to wrap the barrel in wet rags, which would not only delay overheating, but also convey an effect of heavier firepower, making the enemy more cautious in an ambush. Welrod silenced pistols, explosives, and wireless radios were also provided by the SOE. The most common captured weapons included the Kar-98K rifle and MP-40 submachine gun. The Maquis sometimes wore armbands with the Cross of Lorraine or the initials FFI on top of the French tricolor as a form of insignia. After Operation Barbarossa on June 22, 1941, French communists enthusiastically joined the resistance movement and political differences were temporarily set aside. The introduction of compulsory labor service by the Vichy government and their actions against Jews also helped the resistance movement grow as the war continued. In 1944, the French resistance would play a vital role in D-Day, sending thousands of intelligence reports to the Allies, while also preventing German movement of reinforcements into Normandy by sabotaging enemy transportation. After the landings, a large amount of resistance fighters were organized as the French forces of the interior, becoming light infantry units alongside regular French forces and the British and American allies that had landed. Alongside their allies, the resistance would fight against the German forces, rounding up collaborators and liberating towns, villages, and eventually Paris on August 25, 1944.
From the documentary, we can see in August 1944, Allied forces together with French resistance liberated Paris. People celebrated in the street because they were finally free after 4 years of occupation. After the Germans left, France faced the difficult task of rebuilding the country. Democracy was restored, and many people who had collaborated with Nazis were brought to justice. The Nazi occupation of Paris shows how war can take away freedom, destroy lives, and divide a country. But the liberation of Paris also reminds us the courage, unity, and the hope can overcome oppression. After the Germans left, France faced many challenges, including rebuilding the country and bringing justice to who had collaborated with Nazis. Even so, France recovered and became a democratic nation again. The history teaches us that peace and democracy should never be taken for granted. We all have a responsibility to protect human rights, stand against injustice, and learn from the past so that tragedies like this are never repeated. And with this, we would like to end our video, and thank you so much for listening and watching.